Hello, Millwall fans. Paul Eiffel here. It's time for Chat with Chaps.
Good evening, everybody. Millwall fans here and all over the world. Welcome to another Midweek Live. You can tell it's live because we're only just got on. And like I've just said to these two, I want to know, where the hell have you lot been for the last 15 minutes, for Christ's sake? I've been on here waiting for you all. So thank you for your patience. We've had a few little malfunctions earlier.
No we in this
Come on, one team. No I in team, boys. This is all about a team, as in we're going to talk about our team tonight, the lovely Millwall. So welcome to the show, guys. I hope you're not as stressed and flustered as I am right now. But look, we'll hope to have an hour or so, hour and a half or so with you, talking all things Millwall. But first and foremost, if you're new to the show and thinking, what the hell is this all about? It's normally a lot more slick than this, but this is Midweek Live, Chat with Chaps. Everything we do, we raise money for the Cancer Research Charity. And by you subscribing or liking, whether you like the show or not, just put a little like in, does all help to raise more money for cancer research. So please do that throughout the show. I think as we've had such a bad start, we should go for 300 likes tonight. Really raise the bar. I don't think we've hit that for a while now. So it's a quiet week. So let's see if we can do that. I want to take the opportunity to thank Spectrum VR, our sponsors, who also have supported us in the Cancer Research Charity Fund. So thanks for that, guys. And look, action-packed show for you tonight. But without further ado, I want to introduce you to my two co-hosts, who, sorry for them being fashionably late tonight, but first and foremost, I will go to it's my right, my left, I'm not sure doing it this way, but is the Danish destroyer himself, Mr. Jesper Damgaard. Welcome, Jesper.
We are getting closer now. We are Tisco with the name, I like it. Yeah, thanks for the 15 minutes delay. It's always a pleasure when you got small kids, so you can have 15 minutes off before you go online. But thanks for having me.
On European time, so are you not an hour ahead or behind me, or is it?
We're an hour ahead, so it's 8:15 here now. Yeah, it's past my bedtime, but okay.
I'll stop digging this hole. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Good to be back on. Lots to talk about. Yeah, it should be a fun one, I guess.
Good to have you on, Jesper. Thanks for your patience, mate. And below us here is the man who needs no introduction. It's the face that runs the place, our very own Mr. Ben Green. Welcome, Ben.
Good evening, mate. Good evening. And if nothing else, mate, you've given me a good laugh, mate. Yeah, that was quality. If anyone would have seen what was going on in the back room, we had Chris on the train dialed in. He was freezing. Disco was having a meltdown trying to get in. The logins weren't working. It was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
We do this all for our viewers, you see. So come on, guys, give us a bit of love back tonight. Give us some likes. Give us some input through the show. So before we start the show off, I'm going to quickly whiz through a few hellos, which no doubt we've got a big queue now as we've delayed things. But I'm going to try and whiz through as quickly as possible. So evening, Carl. Good to have you on board, mate. Thanks for getting in nice and early. Evening, Anthony. Nice to see you. Here's the show's favourite, John MFC. John, thank you so much, mate. Every week you donate, and never do we take that for granted. It's really, really appreciated. Thanks, mate. Really do appreciate it. Hello, Alex. Good to have you on board. Max, I think that is. Max Anthony. Good to see you, Max. Thanks for coming on. Jeff Chandler, friend of the show. Hello. Lewis Hope, good evening. Thanks for coming on. Oh, I missed a couple there. David Turner, welcome and good evening. Get me mouse sorted. Leslie Goddard, hello, Leslie. Welcome. Lee, thanks for coming on. Mark, thanks for coming on, mate. Good to see you. There's my old mate from Wigan, Jeff. He won't know we've started yet. He's so old. He thinks we're still on last week. So I'll get through that with him. Chris Brown, evening, Chris. Great to see you. Evening, Roger. Thanks for coming on. Andrew, good evening. Johnny Woodworm, love that name. Hello, Johnny. Welcome. Barry Langley, good to see you, Barry. Dave W, thanks for coming on, Dave. Good to see you. Greenie. Is that you or is that your dad?
No, that is me, mate.
Oh, right.
Just letting everyone know that you're having a meltdown.
Brilliant. All right. Oh, hang on a minute. They're all putting that. Christ, are we that far behind? Jesus Christ. Let's have a look. Evening all to RK Running. Thanks for coming on. He's got night fear. I can see all your funny jokes, guys. Thanks very much. Come on, Disco. Evening, Connor Punk. Yeah, great to see you. Curtains, evening to you, mate. Thanks for coming on. Sacked in the morning by jokes. No, you're very impatient, you lot. Crikey, we've got some people on tonight. Oh, sorry if I've missed anybody, but I think we're all right. Right, time to breathe. Evening, everybody. And again, sorry for the slight delay, but thanks for coming on. Got a great show lined up for you to look back on what I'm sure we'll all agree was a really, really good point, albeit could have been so much better. So, yeah, look, if we'll crack straight on. Jesper, if you don't mind, give us a little bit of an overview. What did you think of the game? Just a general to start with before we dissect it a bit. General overview of the game.
I think generally it was a very good advertisement for what the championship really is. High intensity, lots of duels end to end. A good game to watch, I would say, from the outside. As a Millwall fan, I would say the first half was quite poor, quite disappointing, especially when we had the ball. Seemed to lose it every time we were on the ball. We looked nervy. To me, it seemed like the occasion maybe got to us a little bit, being at Portman Road, the fireworks, full house, playing for top spot, etc. But I think, again, we made some good changes. Second half came out, looked a lot better. We put them under pressure. And, I mean, boy, we could have nicked it in the end. I was watching the highlights yesterday, and I caught myself doing this again when he hit the bar. It was one of them where if it goes in and we nick 3 points, it's amazing. But as you said, good result, good point on the road against probably the strongest team at home in the division. So can't complain about that. And some decent performances among the players, and quite positive now going into the Borough game, which I think will be quite similar to the Portman Road game.
Yeah. Are you like me, Jesper? Every time you watch it, it actually gets closer to going in.
Yesterday I was there. I'm sure it was over the line. VAR shouting for it, but no, it's just it's just one of them. But again, you could argue also Patterson save. He has no right to save that one first half. So it's one of them. They could have got one, we could have got one. So in the end, probably fair result. But when you get the opportunity, with 1 minute to go and you hit the bar, of course you feel undone by. But that's football. But overall, really, really good point, I would say, and strong second half performance from the boys.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jesper. And your thoughts, Ben, on just a bit of an overview of the game in general?
Yeah, listen, cracking point in the end. Tale of two halves, really, wasn't it? We weren't really at the races. Struggled first half. Struggled to put any sort of pressure on Ipswich. We just really struggled in that first half, didn't we? The midfield 2 didn't work. We didn't get the ball to stick when it went up to Coburn. It was just real tough watch in the first 45 minutes. And I was kind of talking to my dad. We were obviously talking in the group, weren't we? And I was sort of saying this could get messy if it wasn't for obviously Patterson. But listen, we came out second half, and fair play to Alex Neil. Obviously spoke in his post match and said about the tactical tweaks that he made in that second half, and he felt like we couldn't go man for man with them and press them for the full 90 minutes. So fair play again to Alex Neil for the changes, because we were a completely different side in that second half. And like we said, probably could have come away with all 3 points. So, listen, I totally echo what Jesper said. An unbelievable advert for Championship football. It was a proper game. And I said last week, wanted us to go into it with excitement when the players to be up for it. And listen, it was a great occasion. I'd imagine if you were a neutral, it was a really, really good game to watch. So yeah, listen, great point on the road, keeps us in it. So yeah, can't complain.
Yeah, listen, totally agree. And listen, talking about that first half, Ben, where do you think we are with this? It's been a few games now, hasn't it, where we haven't started well, and you can argue it's almost like Alex hasn't quite got the tactics. Well, is it Alex isn't getting the tactics right, the team selection right? Are the players too nervous? What are you putting it down to?
Well, I mean, he come out and said, didn't he, that he made the changes in the second half to go man for man on them and press them, and he didn't feel like we could do that for 90 minutes. So it was certainly a tactical thing that we set up in the way that we did in that first half. But by doing that, we saw that sort of performance. I think we haven't heard that from him before. So it's interesting to see, did we go into that game at Hull in the same way? The Blackburn one, I think you just put a line for it. It was just a terrible performance. But yeah, interesting that they are, or Alex Neil is looking at it in, I use this saying a lot, and I've used it for Barry Bannon, but horses for courses. And we're now looking at it as more of a team way of saying, well, yeah, we can't match Ipswich up for 90 minutes. So we're going to have to play a certain way for 45 and then change it or whatever it might be. But yeah, listen, it is a little bit concerning. The last three games, as I said, the first half, we have started really, really slowly. And we could have been out of sight, really, albeit Patterson had one unbelievable save, which he made, and obviously the goal. Apart from that, did they create a huge amount? Probably not. But yeah, they certainly had opportunities and were certainly the much dominant team. So it's something we've got to be wary of. We can't be going into games and starting really slowly and putting ourselves on the back foot like we have been.
Yeah, and look, on that point, I'll come to you in a minute, Jesper, obviously. But look, if I call it the Langstaff experiment, to me, I think we've been very vocal on this pod that in a lot of instances he's changed our opinion of him, that he's worthy of a starting spot because of his work rate, his closing down, his hassling, etc.
I mean, he didn't get near him, did he?
It hasn't worked, has it, the last few games? But it doesn't look like we've been playing a high press game either. So I'm a bit baffled as to why he's getting selected. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Chris mentioned it in his post-match, didn't he? It was an interesting one with Langstaff because it felt like at times he was the only one trying to press. And when you aren't doing it as a collective or as a group, then it really looks disjointed. And it wasn't only Langstaff sort of pressing on his own. Coburn was doing it. And when you're pressing 2-on-1, certainly at this level, you're never going to get near him. It's just an easy 5-yard pass. Certainly now with keepers getting involved and all that sort of thing. So yeah, it was just a little bit disjointed that first half. I thought in midfield in general, I thought Billy was poor. I thought Cundle was poor. I thought Langstaff, we just didn't get into the game at all. So the experiment with him, mate, yeah, I think, again, maybe it's one for the lesser teams when we're trying to get after them and we know they're not just going to knock it round us as much. The question I have is who goes in there, because I certainly don't want to see Barry Bannon in there, and maybe it's something we'll pick up on a bit later. So maybe Negley goes back in there or something like that, mate. But yeah, he wasn't involved at all, was he, Langstaff?
No. And look, he wasn't the only one. I don't want to dig out. I've got a mate who wants to come on the show. Actually, lives in America, AZ boy, and we might get him on one week. But he just is not a Langstaff fan at all. And at the moment, he's got good calls because he's not in the game. What do you think on the Langstaff situation, Jesper?
I believe I said it last week as well. I would have liked to have seen someone else in that 10 role when we played at Portman Road, because as expected, we wouldn't have the ball much. So when we did have the ball, we need to make the most of it. And I didn't think we did. I think that's where we were. I think that's where we were poorest. That was actually with the ball in the first half. It's okay if you can't press for 90 minutes and you sit back and you soak up pressure, but then when you do have the ball, you need to make something out of it, and we didn't. And the goal they scored also came from us trying to play too smart, trying to nick it between someone's leg. He gets it, passes to Clark, it ends up in the back of the net. So I think that was the most frustrating thing about the first half, the way we couldn't control the ball, mishit passes, terrible crosses, barely had a shot on goal. The fact that it changed second half is a big positive, but we can't keep starting matches like this. What was interesting reading after the game is many Ipswich supporters were actually saying that Ipswich have had the same problem going into this game, playing at home, that they've been quite lackluster in the first half. They've had finding it hard to come out of the traps first half, but they certainly didn't on Saturday, did they? So I think it's a topic that will be discussed, I'm sure, because going to the Riverside, we just can't continue starting like this. We need to be better, and it's fair enough you can't press for 90, but then when you do have the ball, you need to be better, and especially against the Middlesbrough side, who we know whether Hackney plays or not, it doesn't really matter. They are still a good side, and they can punish you if you don't play up to your best. So yeah, going back to the Langstaff thing, I would have probably picked someone else, whether that would have been Luke Cundle, Barry Bannon. Green probably won't agree, but someone who, who's got a bit more composure, who can keep the ball, pass it. Don't think that worked in that sort of game, and I hope he doesn't start against Middlesbrough. Again, nothing personal against the geezer, but it's just it's not his game.
He's a nice guy, yes, but don't forget.
Yeah.
I haven't met him yet, but I've heard he is from Joe.
For me, if we're going to play a real high press, then yes, put him in. But if we're not going to play a team press, as you say, Ben, not just on his own, if that's going to be our tactic, put him in. But if that's not going to be the tactic, I don't see how he gets in the team. And look, the points put there, for me, it would be, I was delighted Cundle got a start, but he's not a midfield two, with Billy, for me. And it's been mentioned in here, I think there as well from Curtains, he can't play.
He really struggled, didn't he, against two, or the three of Ipswich who were obviously out and out proper central midfielders, Disco. He struggled, and he played on the right-hand side of the two of him and Billy as well. And that left-hand side was just, as in Ipswich's, they were just terrorising us, weren't they? Tristan was having a bit of a nightmare. Femi wasn't really tracking or defending. Could blame him for the goal. He was a bit half-arsed in an attempt of a tackle. So we were having real problems down that side, which really didn't help Cundle as well.
Yeah, it just did. Look, and look, without getting into sort of too much individuals as such, what I did feel on the day, and I think Angelo put it in his analysis show, specifically talking about Caleb Taylor. But if you think about Caleb Taylor coming back in from injury, Kramer going from, let's not forget, he got ripped a bit, didn't he? First half.
He did. He looked lost, Disco, for me in that first half. He didn't know. Maybe that is that the position move again from it. He looked a bit lost.
And that's what I was going to say. Was it a bit, he's moved into a different position after playing several games at centre half, and we just expect him to be perfect again at fullback, a totally different role. Cundle coming in, not a bit ring rusty, as Angelo put it. Caleb Taylor ring rusty. Kramer ring rusty at right back. Did that sort of work against us as, in a way, do you feel, giving the guys a little bit of a, get out, if you like?
I think there's an argument for that. It's not like, listen, Tristan's been. I think there is an expectation, certainly from me, and my old man had a conversation at length about this. Is that there is an expectation that Tristan is going to be excellent in every game, and he's not, is he? And certainly in that first half, he did struggle a bit. And again, then I suppose when you look at it like that, Taylor played on the right-hand side of the centre-back pairing. You had Tristan going out there, who didn't have his best game. You had Cundle playing on the right side of the two. Femi didn't have a good game. I know defensively is not what we don't know him for, but he's always been decent going backwards. He wasn't really in it. So that whole right side of the team was really struggling. So, there's definitely an argument that ring rust didn't help. I also think it didn't help that Clark was excellent for him.
Yeah. I agree. The only thing I would say, he did. I know he can go either way, as the commentators were saying on the telly, but he was constantly just cutting in, wasn't he? And I thought, well, Christ, surely you're going to suss. He knows he's got you that side. And all right, he might do you going to the left occasionally, but I would definitely set up to he's going to cut inside, as he did most times, But yeah, look, maybe the player's a little bit ring rusty. But look, what we're saying is terrible first half. Really lucky to be only one down, but what a turnaround second half, and a tactical genius, if you like. Change of formation, change of personnel, and look, really, much as it wasn't one-way traffic, we could easily have ended up winning that game. And you think the last 10 minutes of the game, including the that awful hit the bar incident, it was constant corners from us, wasn't it? And it just looked like one winner at the back end of the game. So,
but that's probably the only disappointment. Sorry, Disco. That's probably the only disappointment. We had many corners towards the end of the game where we didn't make anything out of it. Whereas when they had set pieces, first half, second half, they looked a lot more dangerous than we did. I thought that's disappointing, considering the firepower we have in Taylor, Kramer, Cooper, Ivanovic, Coben. We should have tested them more than we did. And delivery wasn't good as well. So
which was mainly Bannon. Which we'll come on and talk about him in a minute. But I think we'll make sure we go through this in a sort of structured way, if you like. But look, without going off at a tangent, a lot of comments coming in about Smallbone, or Smallboner, as he's now known. Somebody put in the chat there. I like that name. Who was that? That was Born Free, Die Free. Welcome, mate. I like a bit of Smallboner. Yeah, well, I don't personally, but I like that name. That's a good one. So, look, I think, and I would personally say he's looked the most effective in a 10 role for us. And I was really looking forward to him coming back into the team. But I don't know, guys. What's your thoughts? Are we going to see him again this season?
No,
well, I don't even know what the injury is that he's now picked up, by the way. Sorry if I've missed that.
What?
But the injury, Smallbone's injury, what is it?
Well, he took it. Was it foot or calf? Did somebody say? Or it's a knock. Which, look, there were rumours going around Friday night that he's out for the season, and then they seem to, as always, play it down as though it's an injury and waiting to see. He's not going to be imminently available, but because I think, wasn't the comment from Alex, what does long term mean? So. It's a little bit of riddles again, but I think I'm in Ben's camp. I'll be surprised if we see him again now, guys.
But also remember now, when you say he's out for the season, it's 6 weeks from now that the season finishes. So It's not a long time now. A real shame. I thought, getting him last summer was a very smart move. We just haven't seen him play. So it's very unfortunate. I feel sorry for him, but that's the way it goes sometimes, I guess. And
just on him in general, it's a huge disappointment. We saw what he can do for Southampton the season before last. Yeah, season before last. He was crucial in that side of them getting promoted again, wasn't he? So you can see the ability that he has had, albeit a couple of years ago now. But if we didn't see him, mate, I just don't know what to say. Just he's made of glass, and poor fella.
Yeah. It seems it. I'll be honest, when he's been back for his cameo appearances, like 10 minutes here, 10 minutes, he hasn't really looked at it either, has he? So, and I know that's probably a bit
hard. Disco, when you've been out for a long time, coming back in, and so I just don't think we haven't seen what he can do for us, have we?
No, and it's unfortunate because he could probably play in a 2 midfield as well, possibly. But anyway, let's quickly go through. We don't want to dissect every single player, but let's talk quickly about the defence, Ben. If we talk about you, Patterson, and the defence in general, what was your overthought that who played well, who maybe could have done better?
Well, listen, Patterson pulled off, without doubt, one of the best saves I've ever seen. And Jesper said he had absolutely no right to get anywhere near that. Absolutely world class save. I didn't think he had his best game distribution wise, and I don't think he had his best game sort of commanding of the area wise either. But listen, when he makes saves like that, it doesn't really matter, does it? So he did well just from that save alone. As I said, Kramer got absolutely terrorised.
Sorry, Ben, but does he command his box well enough?
Yeah, there's an argument for that he doesn't, Disco now. And we've seen him a couple of times be a little bit weak, haven't we? So, listen, there's probably a reason why he's not playing the Premier League, mate, isn't there? So I know there was a lot of questions around that. But listen, he made that save. He's ultimately won us 2 points, isn't he? So, won us a point, sorry.
His quality, I'm just not sure he's as good as I thought he was going to be. It doesn't look very vocal either. So, but look, again, is he a bit rusty? He's only played half a dozen games.
That's what I was just about to say as well, mate. Absolutely. There's an argument for that as well. So, moving on to Kramer. Listen, as I said, he got absolutely terrorised in that first half, didn't he? But that whole right side just felt a bit disjointed. He was out of place. He didn't have his best game. Certainly improved in the second half, but I do think that was more down to Kieran McKenna doing us a favour and moving Clark out to the right-hand side than anything else. But he certainly improved. He can't be Superman every game, even though we might expect it. Taylor, I think, again, was a little bit rusty in that first half, but certainly, I think, again, improved in the second half. This man, Jake Cooper, is just... I've no words for him now. He constantly defies, I'm not saying expectations, but people's opinions of him. He doesn't get the credit he deserves. People think he's a slow boat. He's just a header. He's just a tackler. Listen, he was unbelievable. And if it wasn't for him in that first half, we definitely would have been 2 or 3 down. He was sensational. Absolute monumental effort from Coop. Second half, he won every header, won every tackle. His distribution was better in the second half. Yeah. Excellent. And then Sturge, didn't know what to make.
Did you like the way he picked the centre half up as well?
He was getting really physical, wasn't he? He was doing what normally happens to him with all the shirt and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, mate, I'd say he was absolutely monumental. Coops, just I'd say there aren't enough compliments I can give him now, and people debating whether he's a Millwall legend. For me, he absolutely is. His longevity, his availability, everything is just, he is a legend in my eyes. And left back at Sturge.
And sorry, just on that, part of the pod, Phil Clark is sort of starting a campaign for Cooper for Player of the Season, actually, that would not be ridiculous, would it? To be fair,
mate, it's something that I've spoken about for a long time. We don't have the best songs for some of our best players, and Jake Cooper definitely deserves a song. As I say, he's been sensational for us for a long time. And as I said, going on to Sturge, wasn't sure what I made of him. He again improved in the second half. He looked nervy in the first half, but again, we all did. So I don't think we can judge him too harshly. So I think this is going to be a common theme running through the whole side, mate. Not our best in the first half, but definitely improved in the second.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. Yeah. Yes, Barry, any thoughts on the back?
I'll just comment on what Ben said there. I mean, our fullbacks, as he said rightly, with Kramer, they had a not so decent first half, improved second half definitely. Sturge as well, a bit anonymous in the first half. But then created something second half, which led to our goal. Great pass to Neckley, and I thought covered the left side quite decent. Actually, he's still learning. You have to remember it's his first full season in senior football, and there will be ups and downs. But I thought he had an overall decent game. The 2 centre backs, you could just see that we missed Caleb, and not to any disrespect to Kramer, because we needed him at right back as well. But it was great seeing him coming back, and I just hope that we are not playing him now in a way that he might risk getting injured for long term. But really good to see him back. Now he has a break of 14 days before we go to the Riverside, and hopefully that can help with his rehabilitation if he's still rehabilitating. Sorry, Coops, as Ben said, probably is playing the season of his life right now. His consistency, as he said, his availability, and the way he's performing at the moment, I think any championship side would take him, without a doubt. I'm just happy that he plays for us. So, as long as we have this defensive line with Kramer, Caleb, and Jake, I'm quite confident going into any game, despite us losing to Portsmouth and Blackburn, etc. But it gives me more confidence going to the Riverside, knowing that if these guys are playing, we should be all right defensively. Then it's up to our attacking players what we can do going forward. But good to see them back. And there was especially one block that when you talk about reading Jack Clark going inside, if you notice Caleb Taylor, he got isolated at one point with Jack, and you know he's not going to win the race, but he deliberately stands far to the right because he knows he's going to cut inside. And the minute he cuts inside, he takes a leap that I haven't seen anyone do before, except for a 100-meter jump or what it's called. And he reads it to perfection and he blocks the shot. It's a fantastic tackle. And the way he gets across, his timing, I think he's just going to get better and better as well. But for Coops, as Ben said, I'm quite lost for words because he's up there as you said, as player of the season potential, definitely.
Yeah, great, isn't it? Great for him, and really because he's had his doubters, and I've been in that camp at times, because he does turn like a bloody tanker in the North Sea at times. But outside of that, his defensive work is phenomenal. And did Ipswich have a shout of a penalty with him when he had hold of the, was it second half, wasn't it? Yeah, when the fans went mad at their end for pulling his shirt.
Hey, listen, if they're going to be claiming that Disco, then how many penalties would we have had from him in opposition boxes? So I can never get too on board with other clubs saying they should have had a penalty because of how physical we are in our box, because we have exactly the same in their box. So yeah, I'm not having it.
What amazed me was they were going mad at him, keep having the battle with what was his name, the centre half? O'Shea, yeah. But the reality is all he's trying to do is get around Patterson, wasn't he? Going behind him, going in front of him, going to the side of him. Well, if you're going to do that and you're then going to get manhandled away from him, so, but, you can't complain. Albeit, for me, Patterson should have given him a shove a few times. Get out, because that's what their keeper did to us. Get out of my space. So that's where I think Pato could be a bit stronger, dominating his area. And he doesn't look that tight, but look, that save, as you say, was just absolutely outstanding. Would have sort of worth the entrance fee to see that, isn't it? Unbelievable. So, yes, but moving into midfield, I think we've touched on Billy. Ben's touched on Billy and Cundle. Anything to add to those, or should we throw Bannon into the mix coming on second half? What was your thoughts?
We didn't. I mean, we were lost in midfield as well. First half, I think we didn't control the ball well enough. We didn't distribute it well enough. We didn't take care of the ball well enough. But I don't think that was just a midfield problem. That was an issue for the whole team as well. So. Yeah, a bit lost, but again, we covered. Defensively, I thought they covered fairly okay. As Ben said, if you look apart from the massive save that Patterson have, Ipswich they got into some decent positions without having clear-cut chances. I think they had one first half where it's being passed to the back post, and he sort of tries to pass it across, which he could have shot probably furlong. But apart from that, I don't think they created massively. But yeah, we were just not at the races. There's not much more to say to it in the first half. We were not there intensity-wise. We were probably 5-10% off. Didn't handle the ball well enough. When we did get into some good positions, we had some crossing opportunities. We wasted it. But much improved second half, I thought. And Bannon coming on helped us controlling the ball a bit more. I know we're going to come back on to Bannon, but should he start at Riverside?
Let's do it now. Let's do it.
Let's do it now. But whether he should start at Riverside, it's tough for me to say because he's good when the game opens up a little bit and he gets some space, he could get on the ball. It's going to be fast-paced at the Riverside. We know that from minute one, and we're going to need runners in there as well so we don't get overrun in midfield. They like to pass it through midfield as well. We're going to need to stand strong when we go up there. So I'm not sure whether he should start actually, and not because he's played poorly. We might just need, as Ben's phrase is, horses for courses. So we need some different ones in there to begin with. But I could definitely see him making a difference maybe later on in the game.
See, that's interesting because Chris sort of alluded to that in his post-match, didn't he? That probably this wasn't the right game for Bannon to start, and you're sort of suggesting that, and maybe Barra the same. I'll be honest, I don't see it. Why would he not start, even in a tight game, physical game? Look, Bannon's not a world beater. I'm not saying that, but for me, he's got everything in his game. He puts the effort in, absolutely best quality on the ball that we've got. And I don't think anybody can say you don't feel comfortable when he's got the ball at his feet, because you just feel he's going to either retain it or pass it to one of our players. I don't feel that with many of our midfielders, even when Kasper's in, who's a better passer than probably Billy. But even Billy has really improved this year. But they still look like under pressure, they're not. And that was the case Saturday. I don't see that happening with Bannon. So, what about you, Ben? Do you think Bannon can only play certain games?
An Ipswich game, no. I do see why he maybe didn't in the pressing or the whole games, but that was more down to the pitch, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I know people were going to get onto that and probably be like, a good player can play on any pitch. But they weren't his sorts of games, I didn't feel like. Saturday, I felt it was perfect for him for all the reasons you said, mate. Certainly in that first half, when we struggled to just keep a hold of the ball for a little period, because we didn't. It was just like a boomerang, wasn't it? It was going up, coming back, going up, coming back. When we needed to get our feet on it, Bannon is perfect in that situations. But then on the flip side to that, when we did have a bit more of the ball in the second half, you saw the influence he did have. And I do agree 100% with MJW61. The only thing that let him down a little bit was his set pieces. They were dreadful, which is not synonymous with Barry Bannon. He's a very, very good set piece and delivery taker. But listen, you can see all the quality he has on the ball. He influences it. He makes the right decision. He calms it down when we need to. He plays the quick diagonals when we need to. So I think we've seen it a couple of times now, where and how he's going to fit in. And maybe it is now just as, I hate this phrase, I'm going to say it, as a finisher in football. And maybe he's going to come on in that second half and just help us get us over the line or get us back into a game. Maybe that is what we're going to see more of Bannon.
And Steve,
yeah,
sorry,
sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, I'm not suggesting that he can't start, but I think that he won't start because, as Ben alluded to, I think we will probably be a bit more defensively orientated. And not saying Alex is going out to just get a point, but they're gonna come at us, and we will have to probably be on the counter first half, and the game will open up a bit more. And I think he's just maybe a bit more suited to that, and we will get the best out of him maybe second half than we will first half if we start to run out of energy in the center of the park. So I'm not suggesting he can't. I just think that it might. It's just my opinion that it might be a bit wasted with his talent in there, that we won't have the ball enough to see his qualities shine through in that type of game.
And again, invariably in the second half, this guy, yes, but it seems to games are stretched a bit more, aren't they? And it just gives him that bit more space, which is where you're going to see him operate best. Not that he can't find that space anyway; he's got that quality. But yeah, maybe that's just the way that Alex Neil sees him. I don't have a problem with that. I certainly, as I said earlier, I don't want to see him in the 10. I think that experiment certainly.
No. Agreed.
That hasn't worked. That's not his game. That's not where he's played for a long time. So yeah, I don't want to see him in the 10. Would I rather him in front of Cundle? Yeah, probably, because I don't think that works either.
See, there's my point. And I'm a fan of Cundle, probably more than a lot of people. Not necessarily as a central midfielder, but for me, Bannon starts ahead of Cundle in that game, any game. But look, Jesper, you're saying, sorry, that's my opinion. To be honest, it feels like the majority opinion is more what you guys are saying. I just feel, look, if he was, I know it's different. If he was still at Sheffield Wednesday, he'd be starting week in, week out, irrelevant of what the game is, and playing at least 70 minutes, probably 90 in a lot of instances.
Oh, mate, he only played 90 minutes, didn't he? He never got taken off.
Yeah, well, there you go. So, and only near the end when he was going to get some, claps off.
Multiple rounds.
So I don't get it. For me, and look, I get Kasper and Billy probably are our first choice. Don't forget, Kasper's been out a while now, so to bring him straight back in against Borough, he's got to be, right match fit, which I don't think he'll be. So Bannon is up. Look, let's do it in the chat, guys. Would you start Bannon, not necessarily Borough, would you have him as a starting central midfielder, or 2, Do you think, like most seem to think, that he should really be a finisher? Let's use the common phrases these days. Should he be used as a finisher or a starter? I'm in the starter camp, but 1 for starter, 2 for finisher, and we'll have a look back at that in a bit.
But just a final comment to that, and we probably discussed it as well, Disco. I think it's just also, it depends on what game it is. If we played Oxford at home on Saturday, I would say he should start, because we know they're going to sit in with 2 low blocks and we're going to have to break him down. So he's going to be, I would use him in that type of game to begin with. Then I wouldn't use, another central midfielder. He'd be good for that game, in my opinion. But just think going to the Riverside is different. It's because of probably the personnel we have. But again, Kasper's out injured. I know that. But I can see him start. I can see Kasper start if he is fit in the first half, getting maybe 45, 50 minutes. I don't know where he is with this injury, if he's even going to be available. But I could imagine that. And then with Bannon coming on second half, I think he would do it in that order in terms of who plays and who starts.
So if Kasper's fit to play, you'd put him in front of Bannon. Not irrelevant if he's match fit, he's fit to play, you'd start him, would you?
I probably would. I probably would. Yeah.
I think a lot are agreeing with you. Look, we've got a real mixed bag here. In fact, it's seemingly going towards 2 now. You guys, a finisher rather than a starter. But for me, I don't think we pick the games. I think we start. And look, I don't mind talking about Bannon. As Stephen's not on, we're allowed to talk about Bannon because he gets the hump, doesn't he? I'm sick of talking about Bannon. But it really is an interesting debate, isn't it? And discussion. Look, I think we all agree he's a good player. It's how he's best used is the point. So, Ben, any other thoughts on midfield, or should we just then move into up front starting with Josh and Aziz and Negley?
Same. I just think didn't really work first half, did it? Billy struggled, Cundle struggled. So I don't think I can add too much more, mate.
Yeah. So let's go up front. What did you think the front, if we call it the front three, let's say, with Femi, Negley and Aziz, obviously. Coburn, Aziz and Negley.
I'll start with Coburn. I said it a few weeks ago and I've said it again since. I'm still adamant he's going to be our most important player in the running, and I stick by that. We need to keep him fit. He didn't have his best game in the first half, but I do feel like that was down to the yellow card and he couldn't be as aggressive as he normally is.
Good point.
But I thought he was excellent. He took his goal very well. I just absolutely love the bloke. I really do. And I'm really pleased for him. He's now starting to score. Since he's come back from his injury, he's just looked completely transformed. Again, we've spoken about that. He, just looks like a completely different player. I hope he's now putting some of the doubters to rest, because I think we can see the difference in the side that we are when he starts to when BFS starts. I think it's a completely different side. So, delighted for Coburn. Great goal. Nothing more to say on him. Femi, terrible game.
What a finish for him, Ben, because he's been criticised, hasn't he, of missing those type of chances. It was really put on a plate, but he's had a few of them. But what a finish, wasn't it? Fantastic.
Great finish, mate. And that's what you want from him, right? He didn't have too much in terms of goal mouth opportunities, but when he does have one, you want him to stick it away. And it was a great finish. It was a really hard... People didn't really give him too much credit because it was on the half volley, and that could have spooned over the bar, come off his shin, done anything. So it was a very,
you wouldn't
very
have
hard...
Joe there, would you? Let's be honest.
No, absolutely not. No, that would have ended up in that top tier behind the goal. Great finish for him. So I'm delighted for him because I've been calling for him that the only part he needed to do was bring some goals into his game, and he is now starting to do that. So, absolutely delighted for Coburn. I'll go on to Negley because the ball was excellent. The ball was absolutely top class. It was a great spin, actually. He completely sat the Ipswich defender on his arse, didn't he? So, it was a great play, bit of play, really. Again, he was quiet first half, but we were going to say that about everyone. I've already said that. So, he really come into the game second half. Thought he really improved. Great ball in, as I said. And then we move on to Femi. His worst game for a long time. It didn't really help Kramer in the first half when they were doubling up down that left-hand side. But I can only hope, mate, that it was a case of him going, look how shit I am. Don't pay £15 million for me, and he's going to stay.
That's what I thought.
That's what I'm hanging my hat on.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. And yet he could have had a real impact at the end there. Do you feel he could have done better with that shot? Or
yeah, 1,000,000%. I know people will probably be on Ivanovic's a bit more because he hit the bar, but I actually think Femi should do a hell of a lot better. I think he has quite a lot of time, and it was straight down the middle. He gave the keeper all the chance in the world to make that save. So yeah, I think he would have been very, very disappointed with that. Yeah, I think he will be very disappointed. And actually, we might as well talk about BFS as well. I thought he was excellent when he come on. I really did. Again, I've been quite critical of him, but again, we've spoken about it a million times. He's completely different in a two. Every time he's come on and supported Coburn, they've looked a real partnership, and he sort of, I'm going to use an Alex Neil phrase because he said this about Langstaff. He's kind of playing a 9.5, isn't he? He's playing in that sort of position, and it seems to suit him with Coburn up there. So yeah, listen, he came on, did really well, worked hard. I can't blame him for that effort. It was actually a really good strike. It's almost one of those ones. If he had have spunked it a bit, it might have gone in because the defenders might have fallen over. It was one of those ones. If he'd have scuffed it, it might have gone in. He hit it too well, almost.
Yeah. Although, look, in fairness, and again, Angelo's analysis where he said the ball comes at him at pace and he chests it down beautifully. It doesn't quite come down for him. Look, it's one of those. If he scuffs it, he probably bloody scores. You know, he probably hits it too clean. It was a decent save from the keeper as well, to be fair. But no, good point, Ben. Let's just Aldo, welcome, Varmos, Millwall, and thank you very much. 50 Mexican dollars donated there. That's really appreciated, Aldo. Thank you very much indeed, and welcome to the show again. Yes, but on that point of the strikers, what's your thoughts with this point from Bal? Is it Bal 121? Yeah,
I think it's a tricky one because I think when we did use them both, I think at the beginning of the season it wasn't really working. We changed back to a 4-2-3-1 system where we had quite a successful spell. But I guess it's still an option if thing doesn't work in the 4-2-3-1 system. It is an option to put them both up front, and we know how to play the system. And it definitely changed the second half and the dynamics. And I thought as much criticism as Ivanovic has probably got over the past month or so in terms of his, I wouldn't say laziness, but his maybe sort of lack of effort and his, this and that. I thought he looked aggressive. I thought, he went after them. Could have had a goal in the end as well. And maybe he does look better up front with Coburn by his side. But I thought he made an impact, and that's what I want to see from our substitutes when things aren't working from those who is in the starting 11. So really positive. Josh, fantastic finish. As Ben said, this is not an easy finish. It comes very fast, it hits the ground and you need to control it as well. Not only control it, but also with the pace and power, you need to get on it as well. So really, really good finish. And I think we spoke about Neckley last week as well in terms of where he needs to improve. I guess it's his numbers, his work rate is great. And he, even though he was a bit invisible first half, he still tracked back. He did his defensive duties. But when he starts to put numbers on as well in terms of assists and potentially goals as well, that's when we can have a real gem in our hands. And I thought, this is what I want to see. He had probably a couple of opportunities to put the ball in. Second one, put it on a plate and just scored. So a good, I would say a solid game for him. Femi was probably the poorest of the four up front. I guess I wouldn't say you're allowed to, but that will happen in a season. Maybe the occasion got to him as well against the club who wanted to sign him. There could be psychological factors there that you just can't control. And even though he was poor, he wasn't terrible. Let's put it that way. He just didn't have a good game. His crossing was off. Should have probably done better with the chance as well. And I think we'll see an improved Femi Assis when we go north again here on the 4th, or is it 4th or 3rd of April?
3rd, yeah.
So, Josh, I probably thought, even though he had a good game, I wouldn't say he was lucky to stay on the pitch first half, but probably a bit, you know, when you need to get the level right in terms of being composed, but also being up for it. I don't know. I didn't see that, you know, because the cameras weren't facing the right way. But first half, I don't know if he stepped on O'Shea's foot. He did make a meal of it, O'Shea. I'm pretty sure he did.
What I would say
they can get given, but never in a million. But
no, the commentators were over it, like,
yeah,
what was that, etc. And he couldn't really see it. But it's just don't give the ref a chance in these sort of games. Just get away from it, you know.
I was going to say, he 100% knows what he's doing. It's one of those ones. He knows what he's doing, but it's not a red card.
Do you think
no.
Yeah, mate. He knew. He was leaving a little bit.
Yeah, you were obviously a dirty bastard like that.
Learned it from the old man.
I can't say bloody.
He knew what he was doing.
I don't think he did. Bloody hell.
And I don't mind it. It was never a red, but he knew. He was getting it was a good battle, wasn't it, between them two? So he definitely knew what he was doing.
Well, I would say after that incident, he handled himself quite well, and I think he was unfortunate to get a yellow card for that one. I don't think he deliberately smacked an elbow into the guy's face. You know, it's just one of them. He tries to shield the ball and then ends up, you know, hitting him. And I think even the commentators sort of agreed with that. So, no, good game.
No, but see, there I'm different. I feel not deliberate, but I feel he has caught him, and he's caught him with his, like, you know, a bit of his, like, forearm, if you like. So is that your forearm? No, that's your forearm, isn't it? So it's the back, this part. As you say, he's shielding the ball or the player, but he does catch him. So I can understand a yellow there. The stamp, I'm not having that. No, I think that was
the way that he plays though, Disco, and we've spoken about it many a time with Mihailo. That sort of aggression is what I want him to play with, and that's exactly what I want from Coburn. Give as good as he gets, bash centre halves up, and he just, I love that aggression from him. I really do. So, and it's just good centre forward play. It's not even really aggression, but I love it from him. So I don't mind him getting those sorts of yellow cards. To be perfectly honest, mate, if it means he's putting himself about.
Yeah, it's been said by many people on here, he is getting better and better, isn't he? He's come back from the injury, fitter, stronger. He's clearly done a bit of body work, and it's paying dividends. And look, I really don't want to be a doom monger, but like you say, Ben, about how important he is to us, Jesus Christ, if you heard on the grapevine he's got an injury, that would be, it's not curtains, but it would be a huge, huge blow to us. And look, my view on the two up top, and we'll come to you, Ben, on that, because I think that's a real interesting debate, is, look, the problem for me with that is, and I know you say, well, look, just play your best 11 and go and win the game and then make your substitutions. If it's not working, or we run out of steam, or you get a knock or whatever, what do you do then? You set up for the two up top. It's clearly Langstaff can't fill either of their boots. What do we do then? You know, it's
just on Coburn, mate, before we go on to the two. Just one more thing. Everything you mentioned there, this guy, 100%. Has he gained a half a yard of pace, or is that just my eyes deceiving me? Because there was a time, called him the lamppost, right? It was a time where he looked just a bit slow, and I don't see that from him now. I see like he looks a little bit sharper, but again, that might be with fitness. But on the,
I think you're right. But no, I do think he had that when he first started. Do you remember his first couple of games for us last season on loan? He
can't
looked
remember
like
what
he
happened
had
last
that,
week, mate, let alone.
Sorry?
Can't remember what happened last week, mate, let alone.
Well, he was similar. So, yeah, but I think it all goes to fitness, doesn't it? Fitness and confidence. That'd be the key.
Yeah, and he definitely seems like he's a bit sharper. The two ups, yes, an interesting one, because Alex Neil last year, our best run sort of towards the end of the season, we were playing two up top, weren't we? And there was a long time where whilst Coburn was out, it was like, oh, do we go back to the two when he comes back? Listen, I think Mihailo definitely is better served in a two. I think that is without doubt. How we set up beyond that is just interesting. If we go man for man like we did, and Alex Neil said we did in that second half, we looked really good on the press. Can we sustain it for 90 minutes? I don't know, but what I would say to that is I like the fact with our depth now and our bench, we should be able to change players, right? Yeah. So we should be able to go man for man and press teams as much as possible. Listen, Ipswich are a very, very good side, so it may have been more down to that as well. But where I'm on the 2 is a very long-winded answer, this, mate, isn't it? I'm just trying. As I say, I think Mihailow's better in a 2. I think we look better in a 2. Do we deviate away, though, from a formation that's got us into being 3rd, 4th in the league? I think it's hard to do that. It's great to have options and to be able to change things exactly like the situation at Hull and exactly like Saturday, where it wasn't working. We were struggling a bit. We've changed it and we've improved. Now I'm of course going to see the argument to say, well, why don't we start like that and try and play that for 90 minutes? But listen, it's difficult. I don't know. It's a really long-winded answer of saying I don't know.
No. Yeah. It's a tricky look. It's a tricky, isn't it? Poor, and Alex has got to make the decision. I see. It feels like Alex wants to use it as an option to change it rather than start with it, unless there's a game where he thinks we've just got to go and nail it in the first half as such, or from the start. Tom Bradford there. Evening, Tom. Thanks for logging in and watching the show, and some sensible comment there. I think you're right. Look, if you were listening before, you absolutely panned us first half without creating huge amount of chances, but there only looked like one team likely to score. But you're right. Second half, we did turn it around and could have nicked it at the end as well. So thanks for that, Tom. While you're on, mate, please like and subscribe. No cost to you. You won't get badgered by us forever as Millwall fans, but you will be helping to contribute to Cancer Research Fund. Everything we raise goes to cancer research. So anybody listening for the first time, please subscribe, but also like. We've got 200 and odd people watching right now. Please get them likes in, even if you think we're talking nonsense. A like just means you're helping to contribute.
Before you move on, Disco, I just want to say, this is not directed at you at all, Tom, so please don't take it personally, but I'm absolutely hating this Millwall loving. Can people go back to hating us, please? It's too much of it online. It's too much of it online.
You hate all that.
Yeah, I hate it. Go back to hating us. We're horrible and all that. Eating babies.
Yeah, we are, aren't we? We are getting a lot of love these days. It's a bit scary. I bet Tom underneath is saying, I hate those bloody idiots. But no, thanks for coming on, Tom. You're welcome. And get your friends to like and subscribe, mate, if you would. Lovelace there coming up a lot. Jesper, he's our favourite, isn't he? Lovelace. Hey. Will he turn up at Wembley one day or something? Who knows? Bloody hell. But any other thoughts on the team on the day? Any other subs coming on that you feel made an impact? Watson, for instance. What did we think?
I think Watson is better suited to these games. They're probably a bit more technical compared to those when we played at Preston, we played at Hull, and we played on these plough fields. So I wouldn't have any issue seeing him playing a bit more at Riverside as well, with his technical ability and the way he can run at defenders. So it was a short cameo for him, but he was involved in the last chance we created, wasn't he? When he passed it to Sturs and then he quickly ran down the sideline and got it again and passed it across, I think, to Coburn. That's what I want to see from our wingers, being lively, creating stuff, and he was involved in that. So could probably see him play a bit more in the next game, I would assume.
Yeah.
Masosako came on as well, but I don't really know what to make of it. Didn't play many minutes, so yeah.
Looked a bit off it, but looked difficult. He only had a short.
Haven't played for a long time as well. But someone I would like to see more from, because when he was playing at the beginning of the season, looked really, really good. So I'm sure we'll see more of him as the season progresses or finishes, and also next.
Here's a question then, yes, but is there an argument to be made to start Del Boy as more of a like for like with Casper, and what I just mean is a bit more of a defensive player to sit next to Billy at Middlesbrough, and then change it if it was needed? Do you think there's an argument for that?
Yeah, I would agree. I would say so. Yeah, if Casper isn't fit, I could see him play. But again, then one could also argue that Bannon is probably more match fit than Del Boy is. Because he hasn't played a lot of football since when did he get injured? Was it at Portsmouth when we played them away in? Can't even remember when that game was. It was last year, wasn't it? Or
it seems like a long time ago again, doesn't it?
A long time. Then he didn't play for a long time. So
yeah,
if he was more match fit, I could see him start. But I would say if Casper's out injured, I can see Bannon start.
Yeah, that's for me. Look, and I go back with Watson, the Watson argument as well, for these type of games where, the other team will have more of the ball. But to me, well, therefore we need players who can retain the ball better, i.e. Bannon, i.e. Watson. I know Watson didn't play well at Hull. He rightly got pulled off at half time there because he just wasn't at the races. But the pitch and the circumstances, I think, didn't suit him. But like you say, yes, but maybe something like Borough is a sort of game where those, Bannon and Watson could play, because we do need quality on the pitch. We can't afford to keep letting teams, just dominate. I don't mind them having more possession, not bothered about that. But you know what I mean? They were dominating, weren't they, Ipswich, that first half, most definitely. What we haven't mentioned, a couple of things as Tom's on from Ipswich. Sounds like a bit of a shambles of a ground, Tom, considering you were in the Premier League last year. A lot of people complaining 2 turnstiles open at the away end. I mean, that's appalling, isn't it, in modern day football, and sort of stuff you don't see where fans get treated like shit, to be honest. And so that's poor from Ipswich, in my mind, Tom. Should be better than that. But what I would say is, talk about a 12th man. How good did the fans sound on Saturday? And it felt like a real proper away end, and an away end to be in, and the limbs, as they say these days, is the term as well, isn't it? Oh, I was doing them myself, but to have been in there must have been fantastic, wasn't it? Yeah. Yes, Steve, it was great.
I thought you were talking to Tom, mate. I thought you were talking to Tom.
Tom enjoyed it. But no, well done our fans, and I think they're going to play a crucial role in the run-in. We're no doubt going to have sellouts at home, sellouts away, and I think that really helps the players. They seem to respond to it, the players, don't they? Most definitely, yeah.
Yeah, we need it, certainly in the next game as well. Well, it looks like Norwich is going to be a sellout, so yeah, we're going to need all the encouragement we can get for the rest of the season. But I'm looking forward to Borough. That is going to be a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be a good atmosphere as well, without a doubt. So looking forward to that. And just one thing, when we were talking about Coburn before, I know it's obvious, and you should do, shouldn't you? But he looks like he really loves it, and he's up for it. He was right up for that, wasn't he? I mean, great goal for him to score, but he is definitely engaged in the club and the team, isn't he? You can see, he's certainly no prima donna, proper nice guy. Another nice guy that we've got in the team. So one last thing on Ipswich, and if you're still watching, Tom, maybe you'll have a comment on this. Goal or no goal, straight from the corner?
No goal. Well, it's definitely a foul.
Yeah, it's hard to argue that was a goal, especially considering we would say,
bloody hell, dear.
No, but it's
turn it round. This guy's what I'd always say. If that was on us, would we be claiming it? So,
well, I'll tell you what. Sorry, Ben. I'll tell you what I would say. I'll tell you why it was definitely given, and it probably what do you call it? Technically was a free kick, but the keeper really made a meal of it. The way he dived back and made the ref know, I've been fouled here. Where Patterson, I feel, would have just, like he did at Hull, would have just stood there and probably thought, there's no major contact, goal, So I think there's an element of that. He made a lot of it, that keeper. There was contact. And I wonder, do you think if Coburn hadn't done that, he would have got there, the keeper? Do you think he was done anyway?
It's almost one of those ones. If Coburn stands his ground, sorry, Jesper, if he stands his ground and doesn't push it or make a movement, he might have missed it. Do you know what I mean? But because he's made an active movement of sort of pushing him away, it makes it look worse. And the keeper's definitely made a meal of it. So yeah, maybe he might not have got there.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say the same thing. And the way he tries to punch the ball, I mean, it looked terrible. It was just. Yeah, it seemed like acting, but as you say, like the keepers nowadays, they're just, sometimes I feel like they're way too protected. We saw it with Patterson at Hull as well, didn't we? Probably got away with one there in terms of him getting a foul. So I guess that's unfortunately part of some of the modern football that we probably most of us hate to see, because it's just you can't even stand near the keeper without it being a foul nowadays. So, but it was probably fair in the end that it was given, because you could see he had his arm out, but the fact that the keeper made a meal of it didn't make it better.
Definitely. But look, if it's a foul at Hull on our keeper, that's a foul all day long, isn't it? So I think, but bloody annoying, wasn't it? Because, and look, that, like you say, that chance, yes, but much as you don't want to put yourself through it, I've watched it back and back, and then again watching Angelo's analysis, it could have even dropped and hit the keeper on the head and gone in.
Yeah,
but it hits him like down on the body, doesn't it? And it goes out and doesn't even fall out to Coburn or back to the BFS. It goes out to one of their players. It's like, oh dear, when your luck's that's part of it, isn't it? A bit of luck, without a doubt.
Yeah, but at least we took the game to them, and we pushed them all the way. And I think that was the most important thing for me as well when the final whistle went, that I thought, well, we can compete with this team. First half we couldn't, but second half, we were more than a match for them. And it's good to see, especially considering that, parachute payments and all this, and they have a really strong team. And also you looked at their starting 11, but then you looked at the bench and you thought, I would have probably started 3 or 4 of those on the bench rather than, who they started in the game. So
got
really,
some
really
squad,
good.
haven't they? They have got some squad. They really have. Maybe not as strong defensively, although their record's very strong, isn't it? Defensively, they feel like they've got the strongest centre halves as such. I know you don't like,
but I don't see them as unbeatable. Probably the weakest point that they have is probably up front with their strikers. I don't really rate that Asson guy, and Hurst has probably also been offered, even though he scored a couple. But that's probably where they lack probably a good striker. They had to
seemed like that yesterday to me. They're a decent striker away from probably winning the league.
Yeah. But you say that, he brought Hurst on, he brought Akpom on. It was like just threw the kitchen sink at us. And I'm not sure it didn't work for them, did it? Because it allowed us to get up their end more. But they've got some squad. Jesus Christ, unbelievable. Mind a few of them players, certainly the attacking players, as options, to come off the bench. But, right, I think, are we done on the Ipswich game, guys? I think we're done on that. Look, I think overall, great point. Great to, as you say, look, on paper and technically first half, look, they were far superior to us. And most people would say, look, they're a stronger team and squad than we are. But as you say, second half, when we really sort of rolled our sleeves up and played our game, we showed we can compete. And we've given them a good game that second half. And Tom said it himself in the chat, and look, I think they'll have come off thinking, cool, we could have lost that. We could have easily lost that. And that's real credit to us, and our away form is phenomenal, isn't it? Which serves us well going into the end of the, back end of the season with 4 away games left. So before we go on to look a little bit forward, Ben, I don't know whether you want to do a quick resume for us of, obviously, guys, we've got our charity day coming up at the Den for the Norwich game, but there's all sorts of other aspects going on as well. Do you just want to quickly, just an overview, Ben, of what's going on?
As the head of PR and marketing, yeah?
Absolutely.
I'm
IT, so you got
we're all doomed. So it's like loads going on, people. As you know, you've probably seen all the tweets. The T-shirts are live. Go and check those out. We've obviously got standard versions, and I think only a couple left now of the ones that are signed by the fantastic squad. We've also got video messages live from some of very recent ex-players. Sorry, I had a mind blank there. We've got the likes of Morrow on there, Willow, Tomo, Waldy's on there, Gordon Hill's on there. We've got loads of players. Go and check them out. And if you really even want a really special message, you can get Disco to talk you through how he logs on to a live show. If you want to run by play, we can get Disco to do that for you.
I'm happy to do a masterclass in Microsoft management if anybody is willing to commit to that. But no, I must say on that, the video messages, I've got to say, That's a great idea. Think about it. How many times do you want to get a prezi for a mate or a family member or a friend or what have you, you know, and you know, don't really know what to get. And, you know, and really think about it. Something you could have for life, a player, ex-player, maybe whoever you're sending it to is one of their favourites. There's a great add-on at the moment. Steve Morrison, isn't there?
I think Morrow's sold out. I believe.
Oh, has he?
I believe so. Yeah.
On the back of that, to that. Well,
I think Miserable Morrow has sold out.
Miserable Morrow, fantastic. Well,
just caveat that I love Morrow, by the way. I'm just playing into whatever else. But yeah, if anyone wants personalised video message, go and check them out. Again, everything's going to cancer research, fellas, so we don't need to talk about that. But go and check them out. They are a good birthday present or end of season promotion present. How about that one?
Absolutely. Oh, like that, Ben. Absolutely. What a way. That's something you treasure for life, you know, as well. You're right, you know. But look, you can ask them what you want them to say within reason, and you know they'll say it for whoever you're gifting it to, or treat yourself. Have your own little message and pretend you've got friends that love you. You know, it doesn't matter. So no, that's a good option. And then a couple of other things going on, Ben, as well.
What's that,
Did you do the auction? Did you mention the auction? And
I haven't, because I know we've had some technical difficulties, haven't we? So yes, we are still hoping that the auction and raffles are going to be live with some incredible prizes. They really are amazing. But we are just having some technical issues with those at the moment, probably because Disco's tried to sort it out. I'm joking, he hasn't. But yeah, no, we just got some technical difficulties with that. So I think Chris is working very hard to get all those live.
But obviously the big one is as well the day at the Norwich game, which will be a massive game as well. So, you know, bucket day and all sorts going on the day there as well. Yeah. And look, good question there from Millwall Holdings. You know, any more player interview? Look, Chris is constantly, got to take your hat off to the guy, constantly working on getting new content out for you guys. So, yes, I would imagine in the pipeline is some really good stuff.
I have almost certainly got someone lined up for that. A very recent ex-player. I can't say too much. But yes, I think I've almost certainly got someone lined up.
So the answer there is yes, we've got lots coming up. So yeah, thanks for that, Ben. Looking forward to all of that. Look, one last call to arms, guys. Like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. As I say, all helps to the algorithms, which will help us raise a little bit more money for charity, which has got to be a good thing. So I think we should start looking forward, shouldn't we? So players are going to have a nice little rest now while we sit at home board watching stupid international. Is it 2 friendlies we've got? Is it 2 friendlies? One I know is Uruguay. Is it on the
Uruguay and Japan? Is it
Friday in Japan? Jesus,
Japan.
Well, you say we actually playing North Macedonia on Thursday, and we haven't qualified for the World Cup yet. So
yeah, big game, yes, man. Big game
for us. That's not friendly, and if we win that, we might have to go to Ireland or Czech Republic to play the second game.
Well, I'm glad you said that, Gino. So, sorry, Jesper. I'll explain what I mean there. I did forget you there, but I went for my haircut tonight at Gino's the barber in Bolton. There's a shout out for Gino, free of charge for you, Gino. Does a lovely cut, as you can see. But I didn't realise. So Italy are playing Northern Ireland Thursday in a one-off game. He said, I thought it would be 2 legs, but he said it's a one-off game. Is yours one-off?
Yeah, it's one-off. So
and then is the next game one-off as well, or are they 2-legged?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's also one-off. Yeah.
So you have to win the 2 one-off games to get through, and then you're through. Yeah. So and Wales are in that as well.
I've got my doubts though, but let's see.
Yeah.
We know who we're going to play potentially. That's all. The draw has been done, so we know it's going to North Macedonia, and then maybe it's going to be either Ireland or Czech Republic in the second game. So,
and is it? That's a good one for you there, Ben. That I guess is the ex-player lined up.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Love that, Alex. Yeah. So look, we've got. You were in Scotland's group, weren't you, Jesper?
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah, I mean, we
just now, aren't I? Sorry.
No, but it was not even the Scotland game. You know, we cocked it up at home to Kazakhstan. We couldn't even beat them at home, so we didn't deserve to win the group. Put it that way. We got a real job on our hands here on Thursday and potentially Tuesday next week. But if the tickets prices in the US is going to be $1,500 per game anyway, then who the hell is going to go? So I don't know. I've just seen some ridiculous prices over there for some of the games. I mean, this is not what football was made for. I know it's the World Cup and so on, but please make it affordable for anyone who wants to go. I know. I just had my baptism, didn't I?
You know,
by coincidence.
He does look a bit Italian, doesn't he, old Jesper? He just kids on that he's really Danish. He's probably like Thomas Frank. He's German, really. That's what it is. Trust me. I know the Europeans. Don't you worry about that. Right. So big game coming up, guys, as we head towards Middlesbrough. So what's your thoughts leading up to going up to Middlesbrough, Jesper, on Good Friday, which I think is nearly sold out, isn't it? If not sold out for our away end, I was hearing today.
Did they go on sale today? But anyway, I'm not, of course, going for obvious reasons. But huge game. I just saw that it's going to be on ITV again as well that Friday. So, but again, as I said last week, a game we need to embrace. We need to look forward to. 7 games to go. We need to really embrace this situation and go there with confidence, especially after the game against Ipswich. We know we can compete with them. They're going to be up for it as well. I think they have, they probably want to redeem some of the results that they've had recently, especially at home. They've struggled to score. And it's a team who seems to be winning in patches. They win 4 games, they play brilliantly, they score a lot of goals, and suddenly they're way off it. So it would be interesting to see what team we play when we go up there. But it's going to be a huge challenge. Of course it will. There's no doubt about that. But we're not without chance. My main concern, if we start like we did at Portland Road, we could, it could potentially get messy because we know they can create a lot and we need to be strong up there and we need to be disciplined. But as you also said, Disco, we need players in these type of games who can get on the ball and we can create something on the transition and be sharp because we weren't at Ipswich. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be nervy again. Nice with another game on the telly as well, with great atmosphere, hopefully. And I think we owe them one as well, especially from August when I went to see the game personally at the Den. So it would be nice to get a win there and potentially leapfrog them in the table as well, which could make it really, really interesting.
And the way we're playing at the minute, away from home, we're strong. We seem to be better against the better teams, don't we? I really don't want to be playing the lower end teams right now, other than the ones that we are playing are fighting for their lives. So they'll have their own agenda there. But I'm less phased about playing. Something I think Jeff mentioned earlier. We've got a really tough run in. Well, we have on paper, but I actually quite welcome it. I think we're better playing better teams, and we'll raise our game accordingly. A Coventry fan was on there saying he hopes we get promotion. So thanks for that, and please like and subscribe if you're on for the first time. But Ben, what's your thoughts going up to it's not Ayrton Park, what's it called now?
The Riverside.
The Riverside, of course it is. Yeah.
The Riverside. Mate, it's very similar to the Ipswich game, to be perfectly honest, mate. I'm very excited by it. I hope the players are embracing it. I hope the fan base are. I mean, I know most of us are. There's going to be a little bit of nerves knocking about, but listen, we've put ourselves into a great position. Hopefully we just have a go, right? We don't want to we don't want to go up there and maybe see what we saw in the first half against Ipswich or Hull or Blackburn. So yeah, hopefully we have a go. Really looking forward to it, mate. I think just going back to the running piece, I am in the same camp as Jeff. I think it's tough. I think it's really tough. If you go through the games and look, all of them have pretty much got something on them. Obviously, Borough, Norwich are flying. West Brom have found some form and are fighting for their lives. QPR's a London derby. Stoke is Stoke on a Tuesday night, the old saying. Leicester are fighting for their lives. And Oxford are fighting for their lives last game of the season. So the teams you don't want to be playing now are obviously teams around you in the promotion push or fighting for your lives. So we haven't really got any dead rubbers, if you like. And the ones that we do have, they're tough places to go, or a London derby. So, yeah, listen, I think our run-in's tough. But again, they're all tough in the Championship. They're all going to be hard games this end of the season. So, as I keep saying, let's try and embrace it. Let's look forward to it. Let's go into the games full of confidence. You're not in a false position in the league at this time of the season. We're there by merit. We're a good side. So let's just go and have a right go now for the end, from now till the end of the season, and see where it gets us.
That's the thing, and it definitely don't want any regrets, do you? That's for sure. You know, go.
Can I just comment on the run in? We say we have a tough run in. Then you look at Ipswich; they play Birmingham at home next, and then after that, 5 of the 6 games they're playing in the league are away from home. You know, so take that as you may.
Is that Ipswich?
That's Ipswich, yeah, and they have to play Borough as well, and then they have, I think, QPR at home in the last one. So, but there are no easy run-ins. You know, no matter who we would have played or in which position, you could always argue if you play someone who's 12th, 13th in the table who's got nothing to play for, well, then they have a free hit and they can go play with freedom, which can also be frustrating sometimes because they'll start playing in a way that normally they wouldn't because they're like, well, basically we are moving on to next season now. So any game will be difficult. You can't look at the table. It's irrelevant at this stage of the season because, you know, either you're playing for a new contract, you're playing to avoid relegation, you're playing to get into the playoffs, you're playing to get promoted. You know, anything goes. So it will be tough no matter who we play. And we've seen the Portsmouth doing the double on us, Blackburn doing the double on us. You know, you couldn't even write and say, oh, this would be the best run-in because you just don't know who you're going to face on the day. So we just have to stick to what we're doing, keep plugging away game after game and see where it takes us. And I think so far as Ben said, we are here on merit now. We're a good side and we can beat anyone in this league.
Yeah. Listen, agree. You said it, Ben. There's no easy game. There, look, dead rubbers. You can go, even look at Preston. You think Preston gone, you know, and then they go and get a great result Friday night. You know, it's just like, you know, Bristol City gone, but then they go and get a point at Borough. You know, so you've got to tackle every game that you're playing top of the league, and I know it's easier said than probably done. But that's the reality. It's not played on paper, is it? It's played on the pitch. You know, that's the reality. Strong rumours. Well, not just rumours. Hayden Hackney has got a nasty injury, I believe, and missed the game at Blackburn, I think. And I had a Borough mate text me and said he's out for 4 weeks. So, look, just knowing our luck, he'll rest up in this international break and be back. He's massive for them. He is massive. He is one of the best players in the league. So, you know, if he's out, that will be a real anecdote for us, most definitely.
I did I saw on the Northern Echo today, which by coincidence, that the coach was saying that even, you know, Whittaker and Hackney could potentially be involved in the game. So we don't know how serious it is yet. But you know, regardless of if he plays or not, it's still
hang on, Jesper. Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
You were reading the Northern Echo.
It's because when you go into newsnow.co.uk and you type in Millwall, you get all the news, and suddenly that one popped up as a link. No, I didn't read it because
no wonder you're
I couldn't read the full article.
No wonder you're a font of bloody European knowledge. That is unbelievable. Great commitment to the
I am just on Yahoo Sport, just to get it up a little bit, and just reading Hellberg's interview from Saturday, obviously regarding the Blackburn game. It said Hayden is not at his best with his calf. He's getting better, but I don't really have an answer about whether he can play or be in the squad now, or whether it will take 2 weeks or possibly more. So there's a bit of uncertainty there.
Ooh. Sounds like one of our interviews, that, doesn't it? Yeah, I won't give away too much, but look, he's massive. I would be very happy for him to miss out, most definitely. They've got replacements, but he is pretty special. So that would
calves aren't good either if they've gone.
Correct.
Yeah, they could go at any time again.
Absolutely. So what about this? This is the main event, isn't it? Really, the big return of Big Josh to Borough. How do we think he's going to fare against his old club? And look, his club. He is a Borough fan, isn't he? As I understand. So how do you think he's going to fare against them?
I think he's going to absolutely love it, and I think he's the type of character that's going to want to go there and prove him a point. I don't feel like he's the type of person or player that's going to go and shy away from going back to his former club. I think he's going to really want to go there and prove a point.
Yeah, agreed. I have one little niggle in my mind, though, from last season. I don't know whether Jesper, because he mentioned it at the time, whether he remembers a similar-ish situation. Do you know what I'm referring to, Jesper, about going back to the Northeast last season?
No, you have to remind me.
Oh, you haven't read the Northern Echo this week, obviously. No, do you remember we played Sunderland? We played Sunderland away, and we commented that we thought he was really disappointing. John, he had a poor game, and you thought, look, it's not his club, but going back to a rival, and to the Northeast, no doubt had family and friends there, and he had a poor game, and you thought, well, no, we had a poor game, didn't we? We didn't play particularly well and lost the game 1-0, didn't we? That's my look. All jokes aside, as Bex would say, he seems a really nice bloke, and you think, oh, I hope he's not got that edge to say, I want to prove you guys wrong. I don't care, you're my hometown club. I want to prove that you were wrong to let me go, and I'm not going to sort of go into my shell. I don't think he will, but is that a possibility, Jesper, do you think?
Everything's a possibility, I guess, but we also have to remember that the manager who's there now has had nothing to do with Josh as well. So there won't be that connection, at least. And as Ben said, I think he wants to prove a point. I said, like, you can't cut it here at Middlesbrough, so we're going to sell you to little old Millwall. I'm sure he's going to come with a bit between his teeth and prove a point. And, maybe a blessing in disguise that he got injured early in the season. He's stronger now. He's fitter now. And I think he's a better version than the one who left Riverside last summer. So I think they will be surprised to see who is actually coming back to potentially haunt them. Hopefully, that's what I'm hoping for. I hope he gets a goal, and I hope we win, of course. But he's a different player, I think, from when he signed him.
I'd agree. You've got me confident again, Jesper. You've won me over. I'm with you there, mate. I don't want to put a downer on it. So, thinking of that game versus the starting 11 Saturday, what changes do you see from that team for the Borough game? Look, we don't know injuries and fitness and what have you. Let's assume. Well, it's up to you. You can assume Kasper, for instance, is fit to play. What changes would you make, if any?
I think Langstaff comes out. Someone will replace him. I just don't know who it will be. I can see Cundle more in that position than playing with Billy in the 2, 6 and 8 positions. And then, as you said, potentially Kasper or Masosako or maybe even Bannon coming in to play alongside Billy, because you said we need better players on the ball. Or it could be Neckley moves in and then Watson starts on the left. That could also be a possibility that we try and hit them on the counter as well. I think defensively it will be similar. Kramer, Taylor, Coops and Sturge. We could also potentially see Doughty back. I don't know how far away he is in terms of his injury. He wouldn't be a bad one to have on the bench as well.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think we'll see many changes. 1, potentially 2. But I definitely don't see Langstaff starting that game. That would be very surprising.
What would be your pick, Jesper? If you
as I thought about, I think actually I would start with Watson and then Neckley behind Coburn,
Okay,
and then Billy and Kasper if Kasper's fit. If not, then you might have changed my mind and you put Bannon in there, because then you got the work rate of Neckley and Billy, and you can have Bannon on the ball, and it could potentially be when we're on the ball that Bannon moves up to the 10. Sometimes Neckley drops a bit because he's also played there before. Maybe. So probably that will be So defensively, we know who's going to start: Billy, Kasper, potentially Bannon, then Neckley, and then Watson, Assis, and Josh up front.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. Ben, what do you first and foremost, Josh? Do you think he'll be do well against his old club? Do you think he'll be right up for it?
Yeah, as I said, mate, I think he will. I think he's going to want to go there with a point to prove. Get Jesper's point about not saying manager with loads of different backroom staff, all that sort of thing. But yeah, no, I do. I think he'll want to go there, prove a point, show you what they could have had, type thing. He's in such good form, so I just really see that happening. He seems like the sort of character that will go there and want to be like that. So yes, I do think he'll go up there and put in a good performance against them. In terms of starting 11, I agree with Jesper. I think Langstaff has to come out. I think I would do the same. I would push Cundle in there and hoping that Kasper is fit, bring Kasper into the middle of midfield. Even if he then lasts 60 minutes, we then bring on Barry Bannon, as we've already spoken about tonight. I don't really want to mess with Negley, only because he's doing so well in that position. I just want, let's keep him there, keep him doing what he's doing. Yes, he can probably come in that 10, and we could probably bring Watson in. But again, big game. I just think I would leave Negley out wide, and I would, possibly put Cundle in the 10 would be the way I would go. And I don't think I'd change anything else with the back five, obviously.
And so sorry, Central, you're hoping Kasper comes back in?
That's an assumption that, Kasper's back, mate, and that Kasper comes in with Billy in there, push Cundle into the 10. That's what I would do.
I've got to say, I really like that point about Negley. That's in my mind. A lot of people saying put him back in the 10. I don't think he's been brilliant in the 10. And nobody's been. We're bloody 10. Should we call it a 9.5 now in future? We don't have a 10. 9.5. So our 9.5. I don't think he's played particularly well there, Negley. And Ben, I always go back to your point on this pod many, many weeks ago where you said, look, when we signed him, he played on the wing, didn't he, Negley?
Yeah.
Or wide. He did not play central. Everybody's saying he's an actual 10. He didn't play that position. Not saying he can't. So I'm gonna balls on the block. I'm gonna say I start Bannon and Billy in the middle. I keep Negley left and Femi right, and I'm trying Cundle in the 10. And I know we'll say he's not done so. He has had good games in the 10. When he first came, he played well there, and then he's drifted. He's not a centre midfielder, so I would go. And I just feel you think about that: Bannon, Negley, Cundle retaining the ball, and Femi, in that central area. I think we can just retain the ball better than we have been doing recently. So that would be my thought. I like that. I think you, Jesper, said about Negley dropping or switching with Bannon. Was it Bannon and Negley switching? Quite like that. But then I don't like Negley being moved from where he's starting to produce, So look, great, isn't it? We've got great options. I'm sure many would say start with 2 up top. Somebody put in earlier, actually, I quite like that formation of the 4-1. What is it? 4-1-3-2. Yeah, that I quite like the sound of Bannon would be the deep for me, dictating things. But look, I'm not sure he'll want to start with 2 because then it limits our options off the bench should we need to change it.
We did start with 2 up top in the home game when we played them, but obviously Rob Edwards was in charge back then, and I don't know if they played similar to how they play now. But we had them pinned in first half and were unfortunate not to be 1-0 up. Then they changed something, they mixed it up second half, and then we obviously lost the game. So there is an element to 4-4-2 is not completely out the window, and we could maybe see it on Saturday, but I don't think we'll start that way.
Correct. Yeah, you're probably right. Look, in Alex, we have to trust, don't we? He's been getting it right, most definitely. So big drum roll. Coming near the end of the show, guys, we're going to do some score predictions for the Borough game. So if the listeners want to put in the comments your predicted scores, guys, and goal scorers, if you're not going for a 0-0. So big drum roll, Jesper, what are you going for?
I'll go for a cheeky 1-0 to Millwall. Josh Coburn.
He's going.
Oh yeah, nice.
Combs. Could your ticker take that though? 1-0, unless it's a late goal. Even then,
no, but I just think it's such an important game. Both teams will probably be cautious in some way, even though they want to take the game to the opposition. But it's just we're getting there now to that stage of the season. It all becomes a little bit cagey. It's different types of games. So, but obviously, I'm hoping we could go there and win 4-0 comfortably. I just don't think that will be the case.
Jesus, what's going on here? 5-0, 3-0, 3-0. Come on, guys, bloody hell. But listen, love your confidence, if only. Yeah, that would be great. How about you, Ben? What you thinking?
Your next one, Mr. John MFC, is where I'm at. I think Negley is well overdue a goal. I think he's going to score. I think 2-1. My heart's saying 2-1, mate. I would probably take another 1-1 draw. I don't think he's going to do us any favours, but I think it gives us another opportunity for them to drop points, doesn't it? So, I'll go 2-1, Coburn and Negley.
Yeah, love that, mate. Yeah, I think I'm in the look. Let's not. I feel actually a bit more confident for this game than I did Ipswich, albeit, and especially as I say, if Hayden Hackney's not playing, I think that is massive. I really do. But look, I think I'm going to be boring again, and probably my head would say 1-1, and a draw would be a good point with a goal from Coburn. But look, after watching that Saturday, I see no reason why we can't go up there if we're injury free, and if we, play the right formation and play a good 90 minutes rather than 45. I'm going to go a cheeky 2-1 as well. And I'm going to go a Coburn double. I'm going to go for, now that he's on fire for me, and I think he's going to get a double for us. So, that's it for me. And we've got a lot of positivity in the chat, which is really great. What a time. Look at this, 4-0. Oh, love it. Ball free. Lot of confidence in the chat. And why shouldn't there be? We're not getting cocky. We're not getting beyond ourselves. We're just saying, hang on, we know we've got a team, and just as importantly, a manager that knows what he's doing and can react if things are not quite working. So, long may that continue. So, guys, I think we're about there. Would have liked to have gone on longer, but you two couldn't bloody make it on time. So
no, I'll do my best next time.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Sorry.
You stop reading them bloody funny magazines before you come on, the bloody Northern Echo and Co, and you can get on time. So, no, let's finish off. Yes, but any final comments? Any thoughts?
Can only repeat what I said last week. Enjoy it. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a cracking game, I'm sure, against Middlesbrough. And after that, we've got 6 games left, and let's see where it takes us. But yeah, just enjoy it. This is the fun part coming now here in April. Yeah, hopefully.
Spot on. And thanks for coming on, Mr. Damgard.
Always.
It's very nice to have you on.
Gino, you mean?
Gino. And when you next come over, you can do me a little short back massage as well, if you don't mind. Or maybe a back sack and crack, who knows, whatever takes your fancy. I don't know where that came from, sorry.
I don't know what he has on the menu, Gene.
Just ignore him, Jesper.
I haven't met you yet face to face. You're a bloody man, so I'll have to watch myself. You'll pick me up like Cooper and drag me out again, won't you? Bloody hell. I'll have to be careful. So, yes, but great to have you on, mate, as always. Thanks for coming on. And the face that runs the place, Ben, any final comments?
Yeah, very much in line again with Jesper, mate. Try and enjoy it. Let's just have a real go now till the end of the season. See where it gets us. Go into these games now with no fear. Big occasions is what we want to be a part of, right? The squad have done amazing. Alex Neil's done amazing. So whatever happens now between the end of the regular season will be, if it's the playoffs, that would be what it will be. And as I say, just hope the players go into it with no fear and give it a right go.
Absolutely. Spot on, Ben. Lovely word. Great stuff, mate. Appreciate that. There's some really kind words coming in from the listeners as well. Really appreciate that, guys. And we've not done, I don't think we did it last week. Should we ask for a comment? I've got an idea of a comment to put in the comments because that helps with the algorithms. Any thoughts? Should we ask them to put something in the comments on YouTube, not on here, on YouTube?
We've got to be one of two. It's either got to be Disco, the IT manager, or Gino.
What about Gino Smallboner?
Yeah, Gino Smallbone.
Yeah. So, guys, just to be clear, not on here, you could put it on here, but go out and go on to YouTube, like and subscribe, obviously, but just put in the comments, Gino Smallbone, because the more comments we get, obviously it all helps, genuinely more algorithms, and therefore a little bit more money going on into charity for cancer research. And we're over 35k now, guys. We've raised after a recent huge donation from an anonymous company. So look, brilliant, and everyone who watches this show has contributed to that. And look, some great comments tonight and involvement. We really do appreciate it, guys. Genuinely, the show is nothing without you guys, and we do appreciate you coming on and giving up your time and getting involved. So, as we said, great time to be a Millwall fan. Time to sort of chill out for the next week and a half, and then be right on it for Good Friday. And let's hope we really
you close out the show. Are we on next week? Is there a international live show?
I would think. I think there's some things lined up, but I would think we possibly will, as a sort of look forward to the Borough game. We might have a bit more knowledge on availability of players, etc., mightn't we? And look, let's be honest, about time Joe got off his arse and got back on here.
Part-time, wasn't he?
And did his job. He keeps bloody skanking off on midweek. So I know he's very keen to get back on as well. So I'll set it all up for him. And then he can come on and run the show, which is beneficial. So,
look, can you just see how many likes we had this evening?
Oh yeah, I don't know. Anybody see that? We didn't do a check, did we? Did you see that, Ben, at all? Can you see that?
Just having a look now, mate.
Quick,
we are on 94.
94, not bad. That's not bad. So let's get to three figures.
Not bad. We started at 20 past 7. Yeah.
So, yeah, Ben, there's one for you, I think. But no, listen, 95 now. I see it's going up live. So, guys, thanks very much for listening. And put in your comment. Don't forget, comments on YouTube. Gino's Smallboner. And we will see you all soon. All the best for now. Good night.
Hi, it's Steve Morrison here, and you're listening to Chat with Chaps, chatting Millwall, come rain or shine.